Rec League podcast. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your family, tell your haters. Available on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Radio Public, Good Pods, Pocket Cast, Breaker, and Stitcher. At Rec League Podcast on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Threads. At Rec League Pod on Twitter. Episode 122 coming soon. Yo, whether you watching this from Facebook, Twitter, click the link in my Instagram or YouTube itself. What up, world? I just watched The Marvels. At face value, you can call it a sequel to Captain Marvel. But it's a sequel to Captain Marvel. It's a sequel to WandaVision. It's a sequel to Secret Invasion. It's a sequel to Ms. Marvel. It's kind of a sequel to Avengers Endgame. And it stars Brie Larson, Tanya Paris, Iman Vellani, my bad, Samuel L. Jackson, Zaw Ashton. I'm mispronouncing names all over the place. And it's directed by Nia DaCosta, who directed Candyman a couple years ago. You got Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau, and Ms. Marvel. And when they use their powers, they switch places. They have to find out why this is happening, fix it, stop the leader of the Kree who is just trying to replenish her world. But she's doing it in a villainous manner. So, like, it's a lot on the plate of these heroes. New MCU, like, I was torn. Like, this wasn't particularly one of my most anticipated movies of the year. I'm always looking forward to new Marvel. I still think, I watched it again yesterday, the original Captain Marvel is mid. I'm sorry. And this movie, The Marvels, is 1000% evidence that Brie Larson was not bad in Captain Marvel. The direction was bad. The writing was bad. The movie is still super mid. I still don't know why the Tesseract was in that movie. Brie Larson is great in this. Iman Vellani is great in this. Tanya Paris is great in this. The direction was better. I enjoyed the fight scenes. The fight scenes was like, I don't know if the editing was the best, but like I dug the choreography and the effects. And the first fight scene, the first fight scene where like they can't control their switching, it was so cool. I was super hyped. I was laughing throughout this movie. I love the chemistry between the three leads. The emotional shit hit me kind of hard because between Captain Marvel and WandaVision, like, we know like there's some unresolved issues between Monica and Carol. We know how much of a fangirl Kamala is to Carol. And all of that really hit me. Like, I don't know, like I'm 37 years old, so like emotional shit just hits me when it's supposed to. They're like, they do the Marvel thing where they like have these goofy scenarios that there are going to be that group of naysayers who have to, The Marvels is a bad movie because of this, because of that. But like the two things that people are going to nitpick about, it wasn't overkill. It serviced the plot. One scene that is going to get torn to shreds ended in a pretty great battle. Another thing that's going to get torn to shreds pushed the plot forward. I like this is more like, what's her name? I can't think of the villain's name. She was a good villain. Her fight was relatable, understandable. But I think she's going to end up being like more of what people like categorize as like a phase 1 villain. A good villain, but at the end of the day, maybe not that memorable. there's a mid-credit scene, no post-credit scene, and like I have all the questions for that. I think I 1000% back Nia DaCosta to direct a Captain Marvel 3, the Marvels 2, whatever, the next sequel to this movie. Like, they're talking about Sam Raimi doing Strange 3. Let Nia DaCosta do the next Marvels movie, whatever. Because I enjoyed this from start to finish. I like even the way that the Marvel Studios logo was hitting. Like, it had the usual clips within the letters, but then it faded into just the three main leads of this. I think the story was good. I think it had the right amount of fan service. It left stuff unanswered. So like, fans that have been invested for what, 34 movies now, I'm guessing. I feel like Love and Thunder was like 32. So that means Wakanda Forever would have been 33. We've had 3 this year. I don't know how many Marvel movies there are now. 35? I've lost count. There's a lot. But if you've watched all of them, if you're a fan of the universe, you need the questions answered for what happened in the mid-credit scene, for the way this movie ended. I want a hard stamp to tease, because what, the next Avengers movie is in 2026. I know it's still 2.5 years away, but we got to get there, you know what I mean? And I don't know, the Marvel Studios, to me, in the theaters, 2 for 3 this year. Quantumania wasn't it. Guardians 3, I feel like, is a product more of James Gunn than Marvel Studios, but it was still a banger. And I think this is a banger. Like, I'm sorry, like, it's like 10% new movie high, but it's also like, there wasn't a lot in this movie that I did not like. So with all that being said, maybe I'm overrating this by a half star or a full star, but it's still how I feel. In my opinion, I will say that the Marvels is almost dope as fuck. Have you seen the Marvels, man? What you think? Positive, negative, somewhere in between? Let me know. I recently put up a review for The Killer. I recently reviewed Loki season 2. Check those out. Next weekend, I hope to watch and review The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Snakes and Songbirds and Snakes, Trolls Band Together, and Thanksgiving. I know for sure I'll get Hunger Games and Trolls. And then the weekend of Thanksgiving, I'm going to watch Wish, the new Disney animated movie. Check all of that out, man. Rec League Podcast. We're talking The Killer. We're talking Fincher. We're talking the Marvels. Spoiler heavy. We're talking new trailers. Strike's over. Let's go. Like, subscribe, comment. Find me where you find me, man. Don't know where to find me. Watch these credits. Peace.